couple of years, but then I did a poster for the Deftones, and that was great because I love the Deftones. And I did a T-shirt for Metallica, and that was really good, but then they didn't use it. So that wasn't too great. I didn't feel too bad. I think they got like 30 submissions and took about 3 of them, so it's fine. But they did ask me to do it, so that's nice. And so in that respect, I kind of, it's not that I've reached the top level of just like working for all these great bands. It's just, there's not really much to it. So I'm not really sure who I want to work for anymore. I kind of just work with whoever excites me or whoever is, creatively excites me. I mean, I'd kind of like to get into working more with comic books, like Marvel and stuff. I think that's possibly somewhere I'd like to aim. Not doing like the actual comic books. That'd take me a year to do one issue. I couldn't do it. But maybe like covers, things like that. I think when, and hopefully when I start doing things like painting more, that'll be something I'd be looking to do, definitely. Because Marvel's a big inspiration for me, and DC for a bit, but not so much.
Just a bit. Well, it's interesting that you said that. I was going to ask you. You had talked about how you wanted to be a writer, and I was wondering if, even if you weren't doing the interiors, if you would ever want to kind of drive the story of a comic book, do the covers, and then find an artist who works similarly, but maybe in a quicker style to do the interiors, if that was something you'd want to do.
Yeah, it is actually, very much so. I've even got stuff like planned out. A lot of stuff planned out. I've got a big epic of that would span thousands of years or whatever. Lots of sort of sci-fi stuff planned in my head and notebooks. And I do actually have someone that I know who's a good friend of mine that I haven't propositioned him to do this yet, but I think if I did, it would be him. I think it just needs to be the right time, really. Because I guess I've got these sort of stories and ideas that I want to get out, and at some point I'll get time to do it. I managed to do it a little bit with my T-shirt range, but that was on a very sort of base level. There's only so much narrative you can tell with T-shirts, So yeah, there's plans for it could be years. I don't know.
Education and still nowadays, what do you find to be the hardest obstacle, and how do you overcome it?
I didn't catch that one, sorry.
What do you find, whether in school or even now professionally, what do you find to be your hardest obstacle in your work?
Oh, okay. Hardest obstacle. I think the hardest obstacle now is that I've settled. I found myself in a position where I can make enough money to live, and I know how to work. I know how to work quickly at what I'm doing. And for me, it's finding the time to still be creative and push myself, because there's no one there to tell me to do it anymore. There's no teacher or anything like that. Whereas, obviously, at university, you've got someone pushing you forward and saying that's not good enough, it's better. And I've got a girlfriend, and she knows I can do better with stuff, and there's more that I can do. And she tells me to do it, obviously. But that is the obstacle, finding time to yourself to not just make money and enjoy art and enjoy doing, as opposed to just working for next paycheck.
I was wondering what comic books you're reading right now, and what comics or artists have had the biggest impact on you, not necessarily as an artist, just...
I couldn't hear that one, sorry.
Which comics are you reading right now, and which comics or artists have had the biggest impact on you?
Oh, okay. At the moment, I'm reading Walking Dead, just got a comic book called Crossed, which is absolutely disgusting.
Sick, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to put that one down. That was too much.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm reading it. The thing is, I love those sort of... Right, so for those who haven't read it, it's a very disgusting tale of, like, a sort of an apocalypse of sorts, I guess. And for me, that's really, really interesting. So, and that's also why I'm reading The Walking Dead, because it's, these tales of survival or whatever. So that's why I'm reading it. But yeah, I'm reading The Walking Dead, Cross. I just picked up a new Marvel Zombies book, which is quite funny. What else? Trying to keep up with Batman and Robin. Quite like that. I don't really read a lot of the classics like Spider-Man and X-Men anymore, because there's just too much to keep up with. So I like to go for the sort of one-shot small collections of 5 issues or something. Because it's a lot easier to take it all in and keep on top of it as well, because I just don't have time, But that's mainly what I'm reading at the moment.
Do you have any advice for someone trying to do art for the music industry? Anything you wish you'd done or you're glad you did?
Yeah. Well, first thing is, I guess, do you have friends or do you sort of play in the music industry or anything like that? Because that is the easiest way to start out. The only reason really that I got into doing T-shirts and CDs and that sort of stuff was because I knew guys in bands, and I was and still am in a band. It was knowing the people that were playing the really small gigs and shows in your town, the people that started up a label that's got one band on it or something, and then working for them, because one of the first things I did was working for Gallows, who obviously became huge over like a year or so. And I knew that I was in a band with the drummer, I knew those guys from back home. So that was how I got that job, if you will, because they're just my mates. So that sort of thing is the best way to get in with the music industry, really. That's what I found, anyway. And from there, doing work for them, I'd get a few smaller jobs for a few other bands they played with or something, and then it just rolls and rolls until, there's a lot of bands that I've worked with now. So working with a band is like a walk-in advertisement, because, they've got your work on a T-shirt, they're walking around with it. Just like that, yeah.
He's wearing a Dan Mumford T-shirt.
But that's exactly it. That's one of my favourite T-shirts. It's a good T-shirt.
The best.
But that is the best way to look at it. Even if you're not getting paid a lot of money for doing something to start out with, then doing a T-shirt for $100 or something, it's fine. Just do that. That's great, because people will see that and then they'll ask you to do something and so forth.
When you work visually, do you usually just use one program, or do you cross over to different programs?
I mainly work with Photoshop and a Wacom tablet, but I also use Illustrator sometimes to sort of clean up line work. Sometimes I use Live Trace to sort of get a smoother look to something if it's really messy, but to be honest, generally I just use Photoshop with layers and stuff like that. I don't really do anything fancy. I get a lot of people ask me, what do I do? And it's just Photoshop. It's just Photoshop layers. There's nothing to it, really. Like, if you look at my work and then I say to you that I work in a screen printing way, you can immediately see how I'm doing stuff, because it's like, I'll work light colour upwards, if you will. So, black line work, and then white at the bottom, and then darker shades as it goes up. And that's generally it. So, quite simple.
Dan, if we've been talking for a little while now, I don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure you're busy, but if there's anything else that you want to say to us about your work, your life, anything that could be of any interest at all, we're sponges and we're ready to absorb it.
I don't know. My life's not that interesting.
Neither are ours.
I don't know. I would say. I don't know. Like, if you want to get into the industry, I think the important things to do are have a website, have somewhere people can see your work. Like now, you know, it doesn't matter if you don't know what you're putting up there. You might put something up there that someone takes an interest in, you know. But saying that, don't just put everything up there, because you've got to believe in what you're doing, you know, and you've got to be able to talk about what you're doing with a passion and, you know, a love for it. So yeah, just getting yourself out there and being connected over the internet is really important now. I know that sounds really obvious, but a lot of people don't do it. Like, you know, they'll leave university at the end and not have anything ready to go. Think about it now. Do it all now. Like, there's nothing to stop you having all that stuff ready. And you'll be doing a few jobs on the side to help you through university as well. So I think that's the biggest advice I give people, because no one really said that to us, to be honest with you. And it was like we left university and no one really knew what to do. A lot of people went off to get jobs in graphic design companies. I got lucky and sort of kept getting work to keep me going as a freelancer. But you know, then some people, because they don't have that thing, as soon as they leave university, they just sort of go home, or, you know, get a job in a Starbucks or something like that, you know, and then before you know it, it's been a year. So if you're really passionate about it, just do it straight away. Don't wait around. That's what I'd say.
Thank you. Well, if there's no further remarks or comments, on behalf of all of us, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
No.
And good luck with your career and everything you do. And we'll be watching everything. We'll be on your site. We'll be checking it out.
Excellent. Okay then.